Well, they held up your vacation there, Charles.
Yeah. That was an easy game last night, though, Dan. You knew they were going to win that game. The fun starts tomorrow in Miami. That was the easiest bet I've ever made. You know they were going to ride the momentum after game four. There were going to be rockers in that building. That was an easy game. Now the fun starts tomorrow when you go on the road and it's do or die.
What do you expect?
Well, the Celtics got a better team. I think everybody can see that if they play their best and Miami play their best, they got a better team. But man, they keep having these lapses. And like I say, the better team. If the Celtics lose this series, they still with a better team. They just have too many brain lapses. I think they're gonna keep it together and win. I think we're gonna go back to Boston for Game 7.
Yeah, I do too.
I just think they're front runners. When things are going good, they're great. But I would love to see them when they wasn't making all their threes and have to learn to do other things to win the game. And that's where your mental toughness comes in. When you have to scrap, play defense, and really, really hustle. I love to see that. But I think they're going to play well tomorrow.
Yeah, it's frustrating because when I see the Celtics play like they did last night, the last two games, that's the way they played during the regular season. And you see, Miami wasn't consistent during the regular season. And now I don't know what to expect out of Boston. And that has to be frustrating for everybody involved with this team.
Yeah, because, they had the brain fart against the Hawks. It did the same thing against the Sixers. And I was watching TV. 97% of the people picked the Celtics to win. I'm like, yeah, that's a no-brainer. Miami can make it interesting because they play hard, they play smart. Jimmy's terrific, but the Celtics got the best team. And you see the series, you're like, well, that's why they've been inconsistent all year. But they live and die by the three. And like I say, if they're making threes, they're going to be tough to beat. But shooting a basketball is the hardest part of the game. And I love to see them not make threes and see how tough they were mentally, because you saw how weak they were mentally in game 3. When they came down and missed like 10 threes in a row and just quit. I actually think that's really the one thing that really hurt the Miami Heat. With Magic Johnson saying they quit, me saying they quit, they had to come out in game 4 and play good, and then they got hot. So that's probably the worst. If they had lost a really competitive game in game 3, I think they would have got swept. But they played so bad in game 3, they had to play for any pride. When you got on the Celtic jersey, and the way they played in game 4, and then I say Jason got hot in game 4, and it carried over to game 5.
Yeah, these teams can shoot themselves back into a game, but also shoot themselves out of a game because everybody's so reliant on the three. Would you rather have Jason Tatum or Jimmy Butler as your teammate?
Jimmy Butler. I know he's gonna give it to me. He's tough. He got that grit. Jason Tatum probably is a better player, but if you ask me who I want to go in the foxhole with, it's gonna be Jimmy Butler. Yeah, but there's a lot of guys who are great players. You're like, I don't want to go in the foxhole with that guy from my generation. But to answer your question, Jason Tatum's probably a better player. But if I'm gonna go to war, I want Jimmy Butler as my sidekick.
Talking to Charles Barkley, inside the NBA analyst and, of course, Hall of Famer. Do you think LeBron really feels like now he said he's better than 90 to 95% of the players. So let's say he's better than 95%. So that's a little over 20 guys. Does LeBron think there are 20 guys better than him right now in the NBA?
Probably not. When you're a great player like he is, your ego makes you think you're always the best. But first of all, LeBron's not going to retire.
No.
I was disappointed he brought that up in the Nuggets highlight of their organization. They'd never been to the finals. They just swept the big bad Lakers. Nobody's giving them any respect.
But do you think
And
he did
LeBron,
it strategically, Charles? Because LeBron is
yes,
very
yes, yes,
calculated.
yes. Because them fools on ESPN were going to talk about it. Like they still talking about it. It's funny. I actually turned my television off the next day because the first two blocks were all about LeBron instead of what the Denver Nuggets has accomplished. I mean, you think about it. They got a dude on their team who's arguably could have won 3 MVPs in a row, had just swept the big bad Lakers, and they spend the first two blocks talking about if LeBron gonna retire. Yeah, I think he did it intentionally. There's no way he's retiring. LeBron's such a good dude, and he got his stuff together. I was disappointed he took the shine away from the Nuggets because what they have accomplished, it's crazy, Dan. When the playoffs started, you go back. I mean, how much this thing has changed in 2 weeks. 2 weeks is all we're really talking about. 2 weeks ago is, boy, you see Steph Curry put up 50. Those Warriors got that championship DNA. They're the team to beat in the Western Conference. That's what champions do. Then the Nuggets play the Suns. Like, man, and KD and really Booker and KD gave it to the Clippers. They're like, man, the Nuggets gonna get beat by the Suns. And then next thing you know, they lose. They beat the Suns. And then the Lakers, the big bad Lakers with LeBron and Anthony Davis beat the Warriors. Like, uh-oh. Is this going to be LeBron's best championship ever? This is going to be a great story.
Why are you watching?
Now, I want to say this. I heard a couple guys like, wow, can you believe it? This team was 2-10 at the beginning of the season. They were in the play-in. Now they're going to play for the championship. And Joker says, smack them 4 quick times. And we don't even celebrate. They've been in first place since October.
Yeah.
The Lakers got hot after the trade deadline. They got all those good players after the trade deadline. The Nuggets been in first place since October.
Why do you keep watching ESPN?
Well, I'm on the treadmill. I got to watch something because I can't watch your punk ass Skip Bayless. I gotta watch. ESPN. It's the only thing that make your workouts go faster.
What do you weigh? Okay, over under Charles right now. What's the over under, Paulie?
Oh man, he looks good. I would have set the over at 279.5.
Okay, who's going over or under? Marv Barkley over 279.5.
Under.
Paulie?
Just over.
Ooh. Seton.
Under.
Todd.
Yeah, I'm under 2 on that.
I'm going under 279.5, Chuck.
You're wrong. Dan, I started at 352 in January. I've been taking this drug called Monjuro, and I've been working out. And I tipped the scales the other day at 290.
All right.
So I can't, I was talking to my doctor. She's awesome. I can't get back to my playing weight, which is 250. So my goal is 270.
All right.
But I started out when I started taking this drug, Monjaro. I was because she didn't like Ozempic. She said, I don't like Ozempic. Try Monjaro. And like I say, I weighed the other day and I was 290. I feel great. I'm going to get to 270. I got to figure out, because at some point I got to get off the drug, but I really feel so good physically, I got to make sure I don't get fat again. Because you don't even realize how crappy you feel until you start losing weight. That's the thing that's funny. I was like, I feel so good now, but you don't even realize, like I say, you don't even realize how crappy you feel until you start losing weight. So I appreciate the love from you guys.
Who's lost more weight, you or Shaq?
I don't know how much he's lost. He looks like he looks good, but I don't think he's even close to me.
Yeah, but Shaq was up to 4 spins, right?
Where did you go, Dan?
I'm right here. I think it's on your end. You're frozen. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. Shaq was up to 4 spins, wasn't he?
Oh, easily.
Golly.
Easily.
Hey, I was we had Tim Legler on, and I said, who's your player comp with Joker? And he said, I don't have one. And he said, there's no game plan for him. He said, Denver's winning no matter who they play in the finals because of Joker. Is there a player comp for Joker that you played against?
That's a great question. He's right. Whoever Denver plays, they're going to win. They'll have a much easier time with the Heat than the Celtics, though.
Yeah.
But I think Denver, I haven't changed my pick since the playoffs started. The Denver Nuggets are going to win the world championship. He's the best passing big man I've seen since Bill Walton and Brad Daugherty. But those guys couldn't shoot threes. And I don't think either one of them were as great in the post-up as Joker.
Okay.
I mean, he's unbelievable. And Dan, there's no way you can't like him. If you don't like him, there's something wrong with you. I mean, if you don't like the Joker, there's something wrong with you as a person. And just that little thing he did when he went up to Matt Ishba and gave him a hug.
Gave him the
after
ball.
That,
yeah.
That's the Joker, man. He's such a great kid. He don't have no bells and whistles. He just plays basketball. He plays smart. But you got to give their GM a lot of credit. Going out and getting some of KCP, Brown, the little Brown kid from Kansas. I mean, man, he's done a phenomenal job. I think his name is Calvin Booth. They are loaded. And, man, I can't wait to see what happens because, I'm not one of these guys. I love guys who are on the crap list with me, who are great players who haven't won a championship. I really would love to see Joker win it because he's never going to get his due until he wins the championship. That's just the way this thing works out now.
Yeah.
So I would love to see him win the championship because it doesn't make or break your life if you don't win the championship. I know some people want you to think that. I mean, I'm pretty damn sure I'm doing good, Dan.
But does Shaq think he's getting to you when he brings up that you didn't win?
I don't think he's that dumb.
Ask him how many titles he won in Orlando before he got together with Kobe or D. Wade.
Yeah, I know. I always laugh. It's like I didn't realize when basketball became like tennis and golf, an individual sport.
Yeah.
The thing is crazy. Like Joker's been the best player really probably for the last 3 or 4 years. The only difference is Jamal Murray got healthy and he's got a sidekick now. Their bench clearly is better, but it's a team game. I always laugh when people say that to me. I'm like, I'm not sure what you want me to do. If you want me to get mad, I'm not going to get mad. Yeah, I get it. I didn't win the championship, but it's like things like, I get it, appreciate it. But I always laugh when somebody says it to me.
What's the oddest endorsement you've ever been offered?
That's a great question. I don't consider. I am very selective because I want to build a partnership. I can't remember the weirdest one, to be honest with you, Dan. But I'm very strategic on the companies I involve myself with. It's something that they really have to. I have to really trust them, and they have to help me do things in the community. To be honest with you, because I don't look at I don't want to just make money. I just think it's important that they help me in the community, especially communities of color and really poverty, because it's more people who are poor than who are black. Because white people, there are a lot of white people out there just as poor as black people. Anybody who wants to level the playing field, they can work with me. Because obviously I'm black and I want to help the black community, but I also want to help poor white people also. They need just as much help because, people always talk about race, but the really big problem is economic opportunities.
Before I let you go, Marvin's been playing his playlist for a cookout. And I didn't know if you had a song, like a go-to song that you want played at a cookout.
Well, my two favorite groups are the Eagles and Public Enemy. I've seen the Eagles probably 45 to 50 times. Public Enemy is my favorite rap group of all time. Anytime you get Eagles or Public Enemy at a cookout, I'm golden. But you got to make sure you burn the hot dogs, Dan. That's the most important thing. It's got to be crispy hot dogs, and you can only put onions and ketchup on them. Okay. And they got to be raw onions and ketchup. Maybe sometimes I'll throw a little spicy mustard, but the most important thing is to get the hot dog crispy and onions.
I don't think Public Enemy and the Eagles ever played. They didn't tour together, I don't think. I don't think they played.
No, I think they're going for two different demographics.
Were you ever stricken by the South Beach flu when you played?
That's one of the stupidest things. They're like Miami's been, what's really stupid? Everybody talks about Denver. Like, you can't breathe in Denver. I'm like, maybe my memory is a little fuzzy, but I don't remember the Denver Nuggets just stacking up championship after championship because of the altitude. I was like, please stop. No, listen, man, in the NBA, you get to sleep all day. The game doesn't start at 7:30 at night. You got plenty of time. The Heat, it's amazing. When they had Dwayne Wade, Alonzo Mourning, and Shaquille, they won the championship. When they had Dwayne Wade, LeBron, and Chris Bosh, they won the championship. What exactly happened those other years when they didn't have those guys?
So you never had the South Beach flu. You never went out too late and it hung over the next game.
Dan.
Yeah.
Well, I had a lot more in other states and other cities.
Okay, what was your go-to city where you go, this could be a long night?
Well, anytime you went to L.A., New York, it's intoxicating. Because when you're in L.A., literally, you got all these stars around, and it also, when you go to New York, I was always amazed when I went to New York. You'd go out, it's 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and you're like, don't these people have jobs? I mean, I'm always laughing. And it's like, Dan, it's crazy. There was a place in New York called Butter. We used to drive up on Monday night just to go there. I met Eli there one night for the first time. There was probably 20 stars at the bar, but there was still like hundreds of people. And you said to yourself, well, we're stars and we know who we are. Do these people have jobs? But it always amazed me in New York when you go out any night of the week. Like, obviously, when you go out on a Friday or Saturday in any city, there's going to be a lot of people. But I don't care what night you went out in New York. Philadelphia's the same way. There's a place every Sunday night, every Monday night we used to go out to. And you're like, well, we know what we got to do tomorrow. What, these other people ain't got no jobs? It's crazy.
You think you could have survived in New York playing for the Knicks?
Oh, yeah, because when you go there, that adrenaline and that, there's a reason they call it the best arena in the world.
Yeah.
Man, even when you went there on a bad team, there's so much juice in the building, you get energy and then when you sit over there, same thing in L.A., when you see all those stars sitting over there, you want to play. I remember the first time, my first game in L.A., Jack Nicholson said hello to me. I went and called my mom after the game. I said, Jack Nicholson know who I am. I couldn't believe it. He sit right beside the bench. He gave me a compliment. I went and told all my friends. I called my mom and grandma after. I said, y'all not going to believe this. Jack Nicholson know who I am. Hey, same thing. Denzel Washington came up to me one time, Dan, and I try hard not to fanboy, but I was so excited. I was like, Denzel Washington know who Chuck is. It's crazy.
They all know who you are now. Have a great summer. Hopefully you get started soon here.
We were talking about, I was talking to Ernie about it last night. Going into game 4, we're like, guys, we're 15 minutes away, basically.
From vacation.
Yeah. And now, 5 days later, we might have to work on Memorial Day.
I think you're going to. Hey, thanks as always. I hope you have a great offseason. We'll try not to bother you. And thanks again.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, Dan. And tell the guys I say, hell, y'all have a great holiday. And thanks to all the soldiers and everybody who's ever served. Thank you.
All right. That's Charles Barkley. We'll take a break. We're back after this.